How would your best friend describe you? I think my best friend would say that I'm very responsible. Whenever our group of friends had to coordinate an activity, they always relied on me. How would your professor describe you? My professor always told me that I was very creative. He liked my papers because it showed that I really thought about the problem and tackled it in a different way. Why are you applying for a job that you didn't major in? I majored in English because I like to write. Because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, I majored in something I was very interested in. After working for a year on the marketing team, I realized that this is what I want to be doing. During college, how'd you spend your summer vacations? My last 2 summers of college, I did an intern for a consulting firm. I gained experience working on office solutions for large companies. What did you learn from your internship? In my final summer vacation, I had the opportunity to work as an intern for a public accounting firm. It was only for 3 months, but I learned a lot about performing quarterly tax services for small and medium-sized companies. I also learned to deal with time pressure and learn how to prioritize work to be more efficient. It was a great experience that I know will help me when I start my career. If you could learn something such as a new skill, what would it be? I would love to learn more about auditing. As a tax accountant, I primarily work on tax, but I like all aspects of accounting, and I think auditing would be very interesting. How would your best friend describe you? My best friend would probably say that I'm warm, friendly, and understanding. How would your mother describe you? I think my mother would say I'm very friendly because I had a lot of friends, and that I'm very focused because I always finish what I start. Why are you applying for a job that you didn't major in? I majored in history, but during my senior year I had an opportunity to work at an accounting firm. After seeing firsthand at the work they were doing, I really wanted to become an accountant. During college, how'd you spend your summer vacations? I have a strong interest in traveling, so I used my summer to travel. I went to Europe, Australia, Brazil, and China. Did you do any internships? Yes, I did 2 internships. The first internship was for Johnson & Johnson. I worked in the distribution team, and my second internship was for Starbucks. At Starbucks, I had the opportunity to work on overseas ventures. If you could learn something such as a new skill, what would it be? The next thing I want to learn is how to make web pages. I think this skill can be used anywhere. If I want a personal website, I would make it myself. And if my group at work needed an internal website to organize activities, I would be able to make one. How would your professor describe you? I think my professor would describe me as a great team member and consistent in my schoolwork. How would your mother describe you? Since I was the oldest out of 3, I think my mother would describe me as responsible and someone who is looked to for answers. Why are you applying for a job that you didn't major in? I was planning on going to dental school, so I majored in biology. After working with computers, I realized how interesting and challenging it was, so I studied computers on the side because I wanted a career working with computers. During college, how'd you spend your summer vacations? Every summer I took extra English classes. I also took some drawing classes because it's one of my hobbies, so I spent my summers learning more things. Did you do any internships? I did one internship for IBM. I was on the development team creating applications for business solutions. If you could learn something such as a new skill, what would it be? I want to learn the different ways to market globally. In my marketing team, I learned everything about marketing on a local level, but I would really love to learn about marketing to different countries. If you could learn something such as a new skill, what would it be? I use the computer on a daily basis and know how to use everything I need to be good at my job, But sometimes something goes wrong with the computer for no reason at all. Because I'm not a computer engineer, I have no idea what's going on. Basically, I have to wait for a technician to fix it. During these times, I want to kick the computer out of frustration. Mostly, it ends up being a problem I could have fixed if I knew the details of how a computer works. So even though it's not in my job description, I want to know how to fix computers at a basic level. How would your best friend describe you? Oh, let's see. I think my best friend would describe me as honest, detailed, and very organized. How would your professor describe you? My professor told me one time that I was like a fireball. I always had a good attitude that positively affected other students in group activities. How would your mother describe you? My mother told me I was always smart. When I was younger, she was surprised to see A's in my report card. After a while, she would be surprised when I didn't receive an A. Why are you applying for a job that you didn't major in? I enjoyed majoring in psychology, but I didn't want to become a psychologist. I just found the subject to be very interesting. It also helped me to understand a wide variety of things. For my career, I wanted to be doing something I was good at and what I enjoyed doing. I had an opportunity to work at a smaller logistics company as an administrative assistant. During that time period, they were short-handed and I actually got to do some planning and organizing for one of the smaller clients. I didn't lead anything, but I realized how much I enjoyed the work. Ever since then, I have been studying up on planning, logistics, and business. During college, how did you spend your summer vacations? My first 2 summers, I had to work to save money for tuition. But after saving enough money, I had a free summer. I actually ended up taking some computer classes to prepare myself for the business world. These days it's a requirement to know computers, so I prepared for that. Did you do any internships? I love to travel, and I realized that when I start my career, I won't be able to travel for long durations. So I used my summers to travel a lot. I spent one summer in Europe for 2 months. I spent another summer traveling between China and some Southeast Asian countries. And finally, I took a road trip through the United States.